Did you see the map of who uses gas? It's the opposite of the red-blue divide. So it's not like they're even using it. Just wanted to point this out there. Gas stoves are a Northeast Carolina, Eastern Urban Midwest thing. This is also where major cities used gas for lighting in the early 20th century. The infra started at that point, almost opposite of the map of the red-blue political divide. Most of the red states don't have gas infrastructure, so they only have electric options. Pussies. Most people are used to gas. I don't think so. I think it depends on where you're at, my friend. This literally shows that the share of U.S. households that have an electric stove is 68% versus gas, 38%. So you are literally looking at a fact and going, nah, that doesn't feel right, which I understand. Doesn't feel right for me either because I have a gas stove. I have a gas stove in my house here. I hate it. It fucking sucks. Even though it's a melee appliance because like when you fucking buy a house that's like over a certain price point, they automatically come with that kind of appliances, but it doesn't work sometimes. It breaks. I don't like it. What's your water heater? Oh, it's I think every house in California is heated with water with electricity. This is only a survey on 18,500 households though. Oh yeah, you're right. Everyone knows famously surveys have to be conducted like the census. 18,500 household survey that is representative of U.S. primary residences is an insanely large number, okay? What are you talking about? Every time we bring up stats, chat openly reveals they just do not understand statistics. They're like, I do not know what a statistic is. I don't understand how stats work. Personally, cannot comprehend it. Cat Turd is using gas stoves to own the libs. Dear liberals, I turned on all of my gas stove eyes today and let them burn for no reason, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it but cry. Dude, he's so epic. Chad expects HasanAbi to know his water heater and how it works coming from the guy that has gardener's law. First of all, I have one guy who knows everything, and his name is Marat Piker. That is the reason why I don't know. The reason why I am able to be out of touch as a homeowner is because I have a man who does all this stuff for me as I bully him all the goddamn time. That is precisely the reason why I don't need to know anything, because he's got it. I'm always like, he's got it. He's got it. He knows. Call him up right now. He's on a plane. If he wasn't, I'd call him up. I'd be like, yo, what is it? Do I have an electric water heater or a gas one? And he would fucking explain it to me. Politics is so weird because Republicans always have to reflexively oppose any Democratic idea, ignoring the merit. Also, why don't you replace your gas stove? I don't know. I have literally never thought about it ever in my entire life. Dude, I think most people are like me. They just don't know and don't care and have never thought about it. And if you think about it and you're like, oh, dude, I'll never do this, you're a fucking loser. I have never in my entire life, especially as a renter, I never even thought about it. And now as like a first-time homeowner, again, still have never thought about it. Like, why the fuck would I know or care about it? That's part of the reason why the government should deal with that. They have people who are thinking on it. That's the whole point. Like, Americans are so hyper individualistic and so fucking stupid that like they literally cannot comprehend a world where like the regulatory mechanisms are there for a fucking reason. If the government was like, no more gas stoves, I'd be like, okay, I guess we'll replace it. Hopefully they'll help others who are not wealthy enough to be able to replace it, right? And like give them some credits or some shit. But like for someone like myself, I could replace it myself. I wouldn't even think about it. And then going forward, most of those other, if I were to go back to renting, for example, it would just be an electric stove and it wouldn't change my life in any meaningful capacity. That's the whole point. The government is supposed to take that burden off your shoulders of like constantly fucking having to worry about all these things personally. That is the entire purpose of like systemic change. So you don't have to think about it all the time. Slavoj Žižek talks about this as a counter to like some anarchist formations, like anarcho-communist formations. Is like you don't want to have a democratic design at every facet of your fucking life. You don't want like coalitions to figure out whether or not like each individual area is supposed to have a gas stove or an electric stove. I don't want to make that decision. I want smart people that I trust to make that decision for me because I have a fuckload of other shit to worry about. All these dumb motherfuckers who are like, nah, brother, like you got to make it on your own. And this is on the left or the liberal side. It is the individual choices that are the morally righteous ones that you must make to save the environment. And on the right, it's like, no, I'm going to do the individually worst choice possible because fuck the environment. Like these two operate at the same fucking like mental plane. Okay. It's still capitalist hyper-individualism, okay? It's capitalist hyper-individualism that is the main reason for why people are like, no, we got to take matters into our own hands on both sides. Sure, one is like marginally better because it's like it's slanted towards progress. The other one is trying to be regressive, but ultimately it doesn't matter. It's so stupid. I don't want to deal with that, man. I'm a fucking idiot. Okay? I'm a dumb himbo. I don't want to deal with it. I'm not a scientist. Let the fucking scientists handle it and then tell me what to do and I'll do it. And if you are the type of dude who's like, nah, fuck that, brother, this is a really important part of my life, you're a fucking weirdo loser freak, okay? Same goes for if you're the type of dude who's like, why won't you make the personal choice immediately to change it out right now? Now that you found out, you better be fucking shifting over. It's like, no, bitch, I'm probably not going to do it until I have to. Biden's IRA has, when the Inflation Reduction Act could mean for your next appliance purchase, you might be eligible for a rebate when you buy an electric range, cooktop, or wall oven. Makes sense. I mean, this is like, I didn't even know that this existed in the IRA, but I told you that hopefully there's some level of like help that the government will provide in this sort of thing. Because of course they would. Why wouldn't they? Like, that's how the government works. Don't you have a deal with it as a homeowner? If you didn't want to deal with this, would have you stayed as a renter and expect your landlord to make the improvement, as naive as that may sound? Don't you have to deal with it as a homeowner? I mean, not yet. And I probably won't have to. But ultimately, landlords don't deal with it. That's the other. Like, have you never rented? Like, have you only lived with your parents your entire life? Have you met a landlord? There's never been an instance where a landlord has been like, oh yeah, hold on, I'll get right on it proactively. Okay? No, that's not happening. The entire purpose of a fucking landlord or a management company that a landlord works with is to just basically put you in a holding pattern every time there's some shit going wrong with your fucking house. And if they can't paint white over it, over your fucking stove, they're not fixing it. You forgot you have two guys. I'm still here, Hasan, says Hasan's gardener. I've been watering the AstroTurf for like ages. Anyway, your grandfather didn't, so you likely won't have to do it until you sell your house, but probably not even then. Yeah. They could also regulate natural gas utilities and require them to have way lower allowable levels of ozone and carbon monoxide. Seems like that makes more sense than shutting down all use of them. I mean, I personally just don't care. I don't care. I literally don't care. I want the government to care, and I want the government to do the right thing. That's what I want. And I think that expectation is so normal. That is what the expectation should be. All of you motherfuckers should expect your government to do that. So there's a gas versus electric stove argument that is motherfucking heating up, and I did not even know that this was happening. Ron DeSantis tweeted, "Don't tread on Florida and don't mess with gas stoves." Obviously, every part of the conversation is going to become a culture war issue. Turns out we found out that Senator Joe Manchin, of course, chimed in. Everyone's favorite conservative Democrat. This is a recipe for disaster. The federal government has no business telling American families how to cook their dinner. I can tell you the last thing that would ever leave my house is the gas stove that we cook on. If this is the greatest concern the Consumer Product Safety Commission has for American consumers, I think we need to reevaluate the commission. So it turns out there's a reason for this. It is creating asthma. Okay, it's creating childhood asthma. That is part of the reason why they want to make sure. That they change it. But another thing that we found out, okay, is that it turns out even though the Republicans are holding on to this as a culture war issue, it's a 38%, 68% situation where 68% of the country already uses electric stoves, rather than the 38% of the country that uses gas stoves. And most of the people that use gas stoves are in Northeast California and an Eastern urban Midwest thing. This is also where major cities use gas for lighting in the early 20th century, and the infrastructure started at that point. Almost the opposite map of the red-blue political divide. So it turns out they're trying to make a culture war thing happen out of this, but it's mostly liptards that use the gas stoves. The brave American conservative patriots are, as a matter of fact, using electric stoves. Do the gas stove challenge? What the fuck is that? Mad about liberals coming to steal your gas stove? Tell them to shove it by completing the gas stove challenge. Turn all your burners up without lighting them and bask in it. Share yours. This is like probably, you'll probably get banned for this. I'm going to assume. This is like a definite TOS violation. Yeah, just leave it on though if you want. Have fun with it. Like I already said, most of the reason why conservatives, I believe, are turning this into a culture war issue is because, well, one, they have to turn something into a culture war issue. Commodity consumption is the only way to do culture war nowadays. gay M&Ms, female M&Ms, whatever the fuck. And now gas stoves, regardless of who actually is using them or not. Here is a breakdown of the income. Gas stoves by income. Yes, I have a micro data set now. It only is going to get worse for the gas cucks from here. Also, not legit at all, or over 10% of the poorest 10% can't cook. Makes you wonder about the food stamp prohibition on buying prepared food. So it's rich people that are using gas stoves. But like, not rich in the, I mean, I wonder if, so I guess maybe Republicans are on board with it then, because Republicans do lean rich. I mean, they are the party of the wealthy, but it's mostly just like upper, yeah, I think it's mostly upper middle class. Well, I don't know if it's upper middle class suburbanite Republicans, but I think it's a lot of rich liberals too, most likely. It seems like if you look at the areas, it seems like it's mostly upper middle class to rich liberals. Do you find this funny? Not sure who made this, but fucking bravo to whoever it was. Yeah, I mean, there's a program to help people pay their new induction stoves to help improve indoor air quality and lower the climate impact of household consumption. It's actually just insane to be against it. It's the saddest symbol to have a gas stove. It's a class thing. Wait, really? Bro, I literally had no idea. I did not know it was like that at all. I mean, every fucking shitty ass, I don't think it's a class thing, especially when you think about California, because every shitty ass apartment I've lived in had a gas stove. Whereas the only time I ever experienced an electric stove was in my grandparents' house in New Jersey, and that's like a nice fucking house, or was a nice house in New Jersey. So for me, I always assumed that it was just a thing. Gas stoves are very useful in Florida for when the power goes out after hurricanes. Yeah, older houses always have gas stoves, I feel like.
Lahmacun koymamışlar orospu çocukları, kafayı yiyeceğim ha. Lahana sarması ne abi? Üçe koymuşlar ya sarmayı. Manyak mı lan bunlar?